Good morning, Year 2, and welcome to your reading lesson, your final reading lesson of the week. And we're going to be looking at Flat Stanley, the same part of the text we looked at yesterday, but we're going to be following some question stems and answering some questions about it. So let's get started. Okay. Right, Friday's lesson. So, who wrote our class text? Who can remember from this morning who wrote, from yesterday, sorry, who wrote our class text? So it's Jeff Brown. What other authors do you like? Pause the screen now and make a list on your paper of what other authors you like, and then send it to us at year 2 at thepalmeracademy.com. Okay. Well done. I can't wait to see which other authors you like, and maybe I can have a look and see if we can purchase some of those books by any of the other authors you like to go in our reading areas in school or in our reading library as well. So I always like to know what are the popular and cool authors that the children like to read now. So we're going to have a go now at doing some matching of contractions. So we talked about contractions a lot last term, okay, and we looked at how a contraction is two words pushed together to make a shorter word. But then we take out some of the letters, and in place of those letters, we put an apostrophe. So on this side, we've got the words of how they were before they were pushed together and made into a contraction. And on this side, we've got the contractions. So on your table, on your books and your papers or whatever you're using, pause the screen and have a go at matching the words on this side to the contractions on this side. Off you go. Okay, well done, fantastic. So now let's have a look and let's see if we can match them together. So cannot should have gone with can't. And we got rid of one of the N's and the other O as well. Do not goes with don't. Well, we've also got rid of one of the O's as well. It is goes to it, so we've got rid of the second I. Have not's gone to haven't, got rid of the O. He is has gone to he's, we've got rid of the I. Did not, didn't, again, got rid of the O. Could, she is has gone to she's, and we've got rid of that I. Could not has gone to couldn't, and we've got rid of the O. Here is has gone to his, and we've got rid of that I and put the apostrophe in. Who is has gone to whose, and we've got rid of the I. And will not is a really tricky one, because will not doesn't become willn't, it becomes won't. So we've put it like this, so it becomes like won't at the bottom. So that's a bit of an odd one. But you can see for lots of them, they have got just rid of the O or the I that makes the is and the not. In some words, like cannot, they've had to get rid of another N as well, because they've got two N's in there when they put those words together, because can ends in an M. But most of the time they get rid of the O or the I. So the O in not and the I in is. Okay. See if now you can write a sentence using some of these contractions, and remember you can send them to us at year 2 at thepalmeracademy.com. Pause the screen now and have a go. Okay, fantastic. Now we're going to carry on reading the text that we read yesterday. So we're going to read the same extract, and then we're going to answer some questions about it using our different question stems that we're going to be focusing on in this lesson. So I'm going to read it to you. But if you want to, you can mute me, but you've always wanted to do that. And you can read yourself, or you can read along with me. It's up to you. So one Sunday afternoon in the street, they met an old college friend of Mr. Lambchop's, a man he had not seen for years. Well, George, I see you have bought some wallpaper, the man said. Going to decorate your house, I suppose. Wallpaper, said Mr. Lambchop. Oh, no, this is my son, Stanley. He undid the string and Stanley unrolled. How do you do, Stanley said. Nice to meet you, young fella, the man said. He said to Mr. Lambchop, George, that boy is flat. Smart too, Mr. Lambchop said. Stanley is third from top in his class at school. Phoebe, said Arthur. This is my younger son, Arthur, Mr. Lambchop said, and he will apologise for his rudeness. Arthur could only blush and apologise. Mr. Lambchop rolled Stanley up again, and they set off out for home. It rained quite hard while they were on the way. Stanley, of course, hardly got wet at all, just around the edges, but Arthur got soaked. And if we remember from yesterday, some of those words that we learned apologise means to say you're sorry. We learned that soaked means to get really, really wet. We learned that smart meant being clever, and blush meant to go red. So we can remember those words from today, and maybe they'll help us with the questions that we're going to be answering. Okay, well done. So today we're going to carry on with using the retrieval skill. So we're going to answer questions by picking up the answers from the text. Just like a golden retriever does, they go and they pick up something and they bring it back. We're going into the text, finding the answer, picking it up and bringing it out. Now the questions that we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at name two. Now sometimes when you're asked to do a question, it's not just about finding one answer, it's about finding two answers in the text. So for example, name two things Miss Druce loves to eat. Chocolate and pizza, of course. And then we're going to look at tick true or false for each statement. So we're going to be reading a statement and seeing if it's true from the text or seeing if it's false. Okay, so our steps to success today, as always, for a retrieval question, we're going to read that question really carefully. We're going to find the key words in the question that are going to help us, and then we'll find the key words in the text. We'll then read around where those key words are to find our answer, and then we'll write our answer. Or if it's the true or false one, we'll tick whether it's true or false. Okay, let's have a go. So the first one is, name two of the adjectives the men used to describe Stanley. So two adjectives the men used. So what's an adjective, first of all? Who can remember? Pause your screen and see if you can write it down. What's an adjective? Okay, now we know that an adjective is a describing word, and it describes our noun. It describes our person. Our noun is our person, our place, our thing, and it describes it. So if I look out into my garden, I can see the green grass. My noun is the grass, my thing, but green is the adjective. It's describing it, and it doesn't have to be a colour. So I could say the long grass, or I could say the wet grass. So it can be the adjective can describe it in any way. So we're looking for two of these adjectives that the men. So who were the men in the story? Mr. Lambchop and his friend, because they're adults, they're men, and they're using it to describe Stanley. So these are my key words that I'm going to be looking for in the text. So I'm going to go back, and it's going to be on these pages. So have a look and see what two adjectives did the men use to describe Stanley. Pause the screen and write it down. Okay, so I'm going to be looking for Mr. Lambchop, Stanley and his friend. Stanley, the man, Mr. Lambchop, Stanley, Mr. Lambchop, Mr. Lambchop. Okay, so I know it's going to be around here. Wallpaper, said Mr. Lambchop. Oh no, this is my son Stanley. He undid the string and Stanley unrolled. How do you do? Stanley said. Nice to meet you, young fella, the man said. He said to Mr. Lambchop, George, that boy is flat. There's an adjective, flat. That boy is flat. He's describing the boy as flat. Smart too, Mr. Lambchop said. Stanley is third from the top in his class. So what else is an adjective in there to describe something? Smart. And I remember from yesterday that smart means clever. So my two adjectives that are going to describe Stanley are going to be smart and flat. Okay. Name the two things Arthur did after he was rude. So pause the screen now and highlight the key words in here in this question that we're going to be looking at. What key words we're going to be using in the text to find out what it was. Off you go. Okay, well done. So we're looking at two things. Arthur, this question's all about Arthur, did, and it's after he was rude. So we're looking for that word rude. What word does it say that means rude? So let's have a little look back. And there's Arthur. There's Arthur. And there's rudeness. So I'm going to underline rudeness because I think that rudeness is very similar to rude. So that's a word that I'm going to key in there. Okay. and then Arthur here as well. Okay, let's have a look. So it's going to be after this bit here. It's going to be around here because this is when Arthur comes in. Phooey, said Arthur. So you're going to now have a go at reading and see which 2 things he had to do after he was rude. Name them. Off you go. Pause if you need to. Right, okay. Phooey, said Arthur. This is my younger son, Arthur, Mr. Lambchop said, and he will apologise for his rudeness. That's one thing he's got to do after he was rude, apologise, but let's see if he does do it. Arthur could only blush and apologise. So they're the 2 things that he did, blush and apologise. So blush and apologise, blush and apologise. Remember from yesterday, blush means to turn red and apologise means to say you're sorry. Okay, we're now going on to a true or false question. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences to read and then decide whether they're true, whether they did happen in the story, or whether they're false. They're not quite right. They didn't happen in the story. Remember, you can rewind back on the video to read the text. Have a little go, see how many of these you can remember and write the statement in your books and then write down whether it's true or false. Off you go. Pause the screen now. Okay, well done. Let's go through them. So, Mr. Lambchop's friend was from when they were at school. True or false? I'm going to go with false. You should have put false. Now, it wasn't a friend from school. Who knows where the friend was from? Pause and see if you can write down where his friend was from. It wasn't from school. Okay, well done if you got it right. His friend was actually from college. So it was a friend from college, okay, not school. So I'm going to change that in here to college. Okay, so we're going to put, okay. Mr. Lambchop's friend thought Stanley was wallpaper. True or false? What do you think? It was true. Well done if you put true. That is perfect. He did think he was wallpaper because he was all rolled up. Stanley was top of his class. True or false? It's false, isn't it? It wasn't top of the class. He was 3rd from top. Well done. Arthur went red. True or false? Yep, true. Well done. It was true, but they used the word blush, which means to go red. And last one, Arthur was feeling happy. True or false? What do we think? Write it down. If you have, what did you put? I'm going to put false because he was saying phooey and he was quite jealous, wasn't he, that Stanley didn't have to walk and also he got soaked. Right, last one then. Write down 2 things that Mr. Lambchop said about his sons. So what did Mr. Lambchop say about his sons? What did he say about them? Okay, write down 2 things. I'm going to go back onto the text and have a little look. What did he say about Stanley and what did he say about Arthur? Pause the screen and write it down. Okay, well done. Fantastic if you got that right. So we've got one thing that he said. So he said, Stanley is 3rd from the top in his class at school. So that could have been one thing that you wrote down. You might also write, this is my younger son, Arthur, he said. Or you might have written, and he will apologise for his rudeness. So any of those 3 sentences, if you've written down, you only needed 2 of them, are perfect because they're what Mr. Lambchop said about his learning. Okay, well done. Right, last bit then today, challenge, okay? The bit you're going to do, and then you can send them to us at year 2 at thepalmeracademy.com. Can you make a prediction of what you think is going to happen next? First, draw a picture of it, label it and write 3 sentences about it. Remember, Arthur is feeling really cross. He's really upset. He's feeling really jealous. And Stanley's getting all the special treatment because he's flat. Have a little think, have a little write, have a little draw, and then send any of your answers to year 2 at thepalmeracademy.com. Have a lovely Friday and I'll see you later. Bye for now.